in West Philadelphia, born and raised on a playground. That's where I spent. Welcome in, man, to Legit Conversations. I'm Cultivated Ni, and what a week. What a week. Um, so much has transpired in the last few days. I had to wait for some stuff to get through. I did some things on online, IG. You can find me on IG, cultivated underscore NI. That's cultivated under slash NI. I did a little Denzel impersonation post huddle of this event, this main event that happened on Sunday. And when I say main event, it was within the Oscars. Sunday, this past Sunday, 2022, the Oscars went down, man. And oh, man, was it a big day. The Academy Awards was lit. I want to give a huge shout out, first and foremost, man. Shout out to Will Packer for executive producing the Oscars. He did a remarkable job. I tuned in late, actually, because my mother texted me. We're going to talk about that right now. I tuned in a little bit late. But Will Packer deserves, he wasn't the only Will in the building, and he deserves a tremendous amount of credit for all the great things he's done, man. I mean, he's been around for quite some time, man. He's about Think Like a Man and all these other performances and these other projects that he's been a part of. But now to see him, executive produce this, so to have the head of that be a black man in Hollywood, and it's just showing that our reach is growing and growing and growing and growing. But he was not the main event at all. He was not the main event. The main event, the main event was almost not a person. It was a hand. But whose hand was it? It was the hand attached to the elbow, attached to the arm, attached to the body of the one and only Willard Smith. And this was quite a time in our history to see something of this magnitude in this time and space. And I'm going to break it all down. But I also dropped a little excerpt on IG prior to this, just to kind of say I wanted to cover a couple things, but I felt like this was more to do with black on black crime, right? And why would it be about black on black crime? Well, we're going to get into it right now. So if this is your first time tuning in, thank you, man. Please like, subscribe, share. I am looking to build this Draper Norway media page into something special. I think we really can. I've been performing for quite some time as a comedian and an artist. I call myself a comedic artist. I'm under the guise of Niem Lyon. I'm Cultivated Ni. Ni is my nickname, but Cultivated Ni is generally what I go by in this media space. So I want to talk about this, but we want to grow the page. This black on black crime, man. Willard Smith, Chris Rock. Two remarkable artists in their own right, in different spaces, but part of Black Hollywood and Hollywood as a whole, right? So Sunday was the main event, man. It was close to the Thriller Manila. We're talking about the hand smack slap heard around the world, man, from Will Smith. And this was, a lot of memes came out of it. It was funny, it's hilarious and humor. But it was also some disappointment there, I would say, seeing this moment transpire and why I call it black on black crime. We're going to get on that. I got a few topics today and how we're going to really break this down in this situation. There's a lot of people on both sides saying, oh, Will shouldn't have done it. It was just a joke. I'm a comedian. I know a lot of other comedians are saying, oh, man, it's just a joke. Who don't come up on stage, this, that, and the third. But I think it was a lot deeper than that. It was bigger than just one small joke. And if you know the history between Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett, where this joke was centered at, there's some history there as well. So let's kind of frame it first. Let's frame it. Let's talk about it. Let's get to the root of it. So actually, Sunday evening, I wasn't actually watching the Oscars. I was on the phone with one of my friends, my homeboy, and my mother actually texted me, and she texted me. She said, Will Smith, I'll get to the text. Will Smith, where's the text at? Because it was funny because she she censored herself. She said, no, I texted her. I said, did they do the best actor yet? Because she was watching it. And she said, no, but Will Smith won by bitch slapping Chris Rock on stage for him doing a joke about Jada. And I sent her back the surprised eyes. But she censored herself by bitch, which is funny to me. Because that's what old people do. They censor themselves, right? So when she said, I had immediately turned in. So I tuned in, went and saw what's happening. I had to go to social media. I went to Twitter. I found everything out, and I just saw it. And when I saw it, I said, "Wow!" I said, "Will went West Philly today, right?" And no question, Chris Rock was from Brooklyn, but West Philly was in the building. I said it earlier, man. Will Smith did not go overboard on this one when he went over Brook, which is a high school in West Philly. Anybody who grew up in the area, same same high school that Wilt Chamberlain went to, right? But let's frame it, right? So I went and did my research. I saw that Chris Rock did a joke about Jada, speaking about G.I. Jane, that she could be in G.I. Jane. And G.I. Jane, if anybody knows, is a movie with Demi Moore where she played a character that shaved her head, G.I. Joe, G.I. Jane, right? So it's a military terminology. She was in the movie. She shaved her head off. If anybody's been following Jada Pinkett, her journey, which I'm pretty new to as well, but she actually has alopecia. And with alopecia, it means, well, I don't want to say what it means, but it's a disorder where chunks of your hair may fall out. You may lose your hair at varying rates. And she decided to go bald on her own rather than bald because of the disorder alopecia. So I just want to send some love to Jada for that. And so Chris Rock took a stab at that in a joke about Jada in that context. And I don't know if you knew about the alopecia or not, but I think the timing of this joke in itself, I don't think he had the situational awareness, right? So anyway, that happens. He says the joke. Initially, it looks like, if you cut the camera, it looks like Will is joking, but I think he was joking because Chris had said some things up to that point, right? And I love Chris Rock, and I love his style of comedy. I've actually been able to perform with his brother Tony Rock, who's hilarious as well in his own right. And he's actually worked with Will Smith on some of his shows that he's produced with Dwayne Martin and Lisa Ray. So they all are in the same circle. So that's what makes this even a little bit more sticky of a situation. But I still feel like this is a form of black on black crime, especially when you're talking about Hollywood and these juggernauts at this time where we're not in that space often, right? Not in the space to win, right? So he said the joke. Jada is not pleased at all. She's not pleased. Will is laughing initially. Like I said, I think it was a joke earlier that he was still laughing from when he went into the joke. Cuts to the camera. She looks livid, right? She's hot. And they pan back, and next thing you know, Will's walking on stage. Chris Rock doesn't know what's going on. He's laughing because he's thinking maybe Will's going to come in and get with the joke, and then, boom. He smacks the living daylight out of Chris Rock live on air, no delay, at the 2022 Academy Awards, the Oscars. And he walks back to see, he does a Billy D spin, smooth as hell, almost like in the Matrix. He said he missed out on that movie, but that cape was flowing like the Matrix. He looked like Keanu when he walked back to his seat. And then there was more footage that showed Will saying, keep my wife out your mouth. And he used some expletives there. I ain't got to get back into it, but he repeated that. And then Chris Rock was a little startled. He said, I will not. And then Chris went on with the dialogue. And then it went on from there. Will went on to win the Oscar for Best Actor in the movie King Richard. About 20 minutes later, he accepted his speech. He cried. He did not apologize initially to Chris Rock in that moment. He apologized to the Academy. Obviously, he was upset. He apologized to the Academy. And he thanked, the Williams sisters, the cast of King Richard. Amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out on HBO Max. And he really, let it all hang out. And he talked about love and how it makes you do crazy things, which it does. Now, I'm not the one here to condone or condemn in this space, right? But I still feel like it was black on black crime. There was a lot of different things here, right? So let's get right into it, man. So first off, to my Caucasian colleagues, my white colleagues, I need y'all to back up a little bit because y'all like to call the police just a little too quick, right? Love y'all to death, but this is not a situation. There was a lot of people saying, oh, this Saul, he could have got. Chris Rock did not press charges. The cops were there, so they know what happened, right? And Will didn't play enough cops in the movie, so you know how this goes, right? But Chris Rock decided not to press charges in the situation, And I think that was the right thing to do in this situation. There was no need to get this any deeper. There was a lot of emotion involved with this moment, right? And a lot of people were saying, oh man, they should have did this, he should have did that, Will should have done this, right? And here's my thing, right? The reason I say that this was black on black crime, the reason that I say that this was a detrimental situation for our community and what we do and what we're trying to become and continue to grow into from everything that we did, right? Will Smith, everybody in that building, I would say 99% of people, maybe somebody that's sleeping on a rock that hasn't been award season. Will's already won the award for Screen Actors Guild. He was sweeping the awards up for this portrayal of this man, right? For King Richard, Serena and Venus Williams' father, right? He portrayed this man and he was sweeping it up, right? This particular night, I would say almost everybody in the building knew. Maybe even the people that were going against him, right? The other nominees probably believed it. Even Denzel gave him that shot, said, because he knew, right, that Will was going to win this award this night. And it was so. It happened, right? But before that award, we got to that award, Chris Rock comes out and he says this joke. And I'm listening and I'm like, why now, Chris? Why now? Right? I love Chris Rock's style. I think Chris Rock is one of the funniest human beings I've ever heard. I love his style. I like how he pushes the envelope. I wasn't even necessarily mad at the joke. I was upset at the timing, the place, what this represented in this moment, right? We talk about this moment now, also women, how women feel. This movie cast was full of women, right? The young ladies that played Venus and Serena, the ingenue who played his wife. There was a slew of women. The room was full of women. Will Smith, Jada, obviously she's a part of the project because this is his wife. Venus and Serena and her sister who was there for the script. They didn't green light this until they saw what Will was able and capable to do, right? And I'm pulling up some information here because I want to get a list here also too that I'm going to pull up that we're going to talk about, but it was the timing of this. I love Chris Rock. I love what he's doing, man. I'm not completely mad at him, but I am a little disappointed that he chose this moment because this was Will's moment. Will been in the game since 85, 86, right? He been rapping. He been on TV. And then he told himself that he wanted to be the biggest movie star of all time. And he's damn near done that if he ain't, right? It ain't too many people bigger than Will, right? But it was the moment. The moment says, right now, let's just big up Will. Let's show love to Will. Will finally made it. 30 plus years in the game, right? Yes, there's emotion involved in this. Of course there's emotion involved. You're talking about a dude, right? Now, in the last couple years, everybody's been loving Will. Everybody's been loving Will, right? Everybody has loved Will because his IG is popping. He's got great content on his IG and his YouTube, right? But y'all remember before that? Did y'all know the history of Will Smith? The guy that everybody used to call corny in our community. Not globally, but in our community. We called him corny. We did the same thing with LL Cool J. I love LL Cool J, but because he was such a ladies' man, the same thing that they're doing to Drake right now, they did that to LL back then. We did the same thing to Will. Will had a great show. We loved Fresh Prince. We did. But we clowned him when he did Big Willie Style. We clowned him for doing Men in Black and those songs. And I sang along to those songs, man. I love gangster rap. I love NWA. I love Wu-Tang. I love Pac. I love Big and all that. And we're not going to get into the Pac Jada thing. I'm not even going to do that tonight. Right? But Will has already been through the ringer, man. This moment wasn't one of those things where it's like, this was a build-up. This wasn't about insecurity. People saying Jada was pulling strings. Look, they got a lot of issues in their family between Will and Jada, right? But this was bigger than that moment. Even in that context, if you know what's been going on the red table, why now? This is the biggest moment ever. Let's find out, right? List of black actors because I want this information here. I think it's important that we put this in complete context, and I should have pulled this up first, and maybe I'll cut this out. List of black actors to win Oscars, right? All right, man. So I wanted to pull up this as well, right? Because I can't even remember the last person, right? But Will is on a very, 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 very short list of people that look like us that have won an Academy Award as a Best Actor. Forget even in totality, because that list is short too, right? But let's see here. Will Smith should be on this list now. All right, King Richard, one. There you go. So we've had nominees. So the last black man to win a Best Actor was Forrest Whitaker. In 2006, right? And before that, it was Jamie Foxx in 2004. 15 years since the last black actor has won an Academy Award. This is Will's moment. Will was rapping Parents Just Don't Understand. Summertime. Summertime is probably his biggest hit in the black community. He's got bigger hits, Big Willie style, Miami, all these songs that he's done, getting jiggy with it was big. But that was big globally, in our community. Because I'm talking about us right now. Black on black crime. That's why I can frame this as black on black crime. Will went through it, man. Parents Just Don't Understand. Right? Him and Jazzy on Fresh Prince killing it for 5-6 seasons. Independence Day made him an international star. Yeah, Wild Wild West was the dud, whatever. But he got other movies, right, that he killed it in. He's done global movies, Hitch, right? Men in Black, 3 Men in Blacks. Bad Boys, cult classic. We love Will in those movies, right? But even through those times, we would nitpick at Will. We would call him corny. We call his music whack. His CD, it's a frisbee out the window like Queen Latifah did and set it off when she stole the whip. She threw that joint, lit a cigarette, then threw the CD out, right? That's how we treated Will through this time, right? And then you think about the last couple of years at the red table with Jada and everything that he had to just sit through. He took it on the chin. On the chin. And then now, in one of his defining moments, in his 50s, 52, 53, he's 53 years old now, right? His defining moment, Denzel there, Samuel L. Jackson, all these great individuals who paved the way for this man right here. He's done the work. He's done the work. He's done the work. And you guys want to strip it down from him. So Chris Rock, no, I'm not mad at him. It wasn't about the joke. It was why now. Chris is a dope artist, man. And since they've gone on to apologize to each other, right? But this was Will protecting his rights. He was protecting women. Women in the last few years have felt they've been undervalued. Black women especially have felt undervalued. Not equal pay in Hollywood, right? On day-to-day life, there's a lot of single mothers out there that feel undervalued. Women have told me, I've made some comments online that women have checked me on. And I put up a post a couple years ago that said, do you feel undervalued? And overwhelming 100% of women said yes, that they feel undervalued. So when a black man steps up for his woman, regardless, don't worry about his household. Because there's a lot of y'all out there right now, bunned up with somebody that you just got in a fight with. Just cheated on you. Maybe just y'all physically got into something. I don't talk about people's household. Yeah, he's a public figure and it's in the public light. But nah, not this time. Will's done too much. Yeah, his family's eclectic. Okay, they're millionaires, man. Yeah, they live a certain way, but he from the hood, man. And she from the hood. She from Baltimore. He from Philly. This ain't it ain't sweet. Will's 6'2". Yeah, them hands nice. He was in our league, right? He been through it. He got his ass whooped. He talked about it in his book. How his father treated his mother and him, and how it hardened him up and also made him put on this front. The front that we've always seen. Nice Will. Nice Will, right? So yeah, he gave up that hand today. And that wasn't the first time he's done it. A few years ago, paparazzi rolled up on him and just thought he can kiss him out of nowhere, and he smacked him. So this ain't the first time Will smacked somebody in public. Go look at the tape. Will smacks paparazzi. It's somewhere online. It's on YouTube somewhere. Right? It was the moment. This was black on black crime. There was another way to hurt ourselves. Love Chris Rock, man. That's my dude. I'm going to support, and hopefully I can get to see him on tour this year with Kevin Hart, because I know it's going to be crazy. And now he got a lot of material to talk about. But the timing of this was crazy. Venus Williams was in the building. Serena Williams. This is their moment, too. This was not just about Will. This was everybody. It was the young ladies that played Venus and Will. It was Ingenue. It was the whole staff. It was their whole moment. So why now? Why tear down another woman? You didn't have to. You already talked about her a few years ago. I think it was 2016. Chris Rock spoke on Jada before. They boycotted the Oscars because it was so white. That's what even makes this crazier. And then people get upset at Will to say, oh, he shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't have rolled up. If it was me, man, I don't care who else it was. Oh, if it was The Rock probably wouldn't have said nothing like that. Martin damn sure wouldn't have said nothing like that because they tight. You know what I'm saying? It was the moment of this. And don't even tell me Chris Rock, oh, this was a teleprompter. It was already pre-written. Man, Chris Rock got over 30 years as a comedic artist. He's one of the most intelligent. He knows how to pivot in moments. He understands situational awareness and stuff for tonight. Stuff for Sunday night, excuse me. He didn't understand that. He didn't understand this, right? Right? We talk about the man being emasculated. Will stood up for something. Maybe he shouldn't have done it, but I understand where the emotional effect and what he'd been drained of. He felt like a coward. He said it in his book. He felt like a coward most of his life because when he was 9, his father knocked his mother out. And he did nothing. This is a 9-year-old boy. But he felt like he should have did what he was supposed to do. He didn't protect his mother at 9. He's been trying to make up ground since then. Then he got all this crazy stuff with Jada. Yeah, they got a different relationship, absolutely. But you know what? You know what I give them props for? Going through the ringer and what they've done and sticking it out. Remember that To Death Do Us Part thing? How many relationships have we seen fail? How many marriages? J-Lo got 5-6 rings. That's the life you want to live? Ring hopping? They talk about ring chasing. Shoot, some of y'all ring chasing out here. They said LeBron was ring chasing. All these guys ring chasing. So are some of y'all. Divorce. I know people in my family been divorced multiple times. Right? He stuck it out with his woman. He saw that she was in distress, and he went to her defense. The black woman is felt undervalued. He stepped up for her. Right? You know the funny thing about this as well is people are upset that Will did what he did, right? Right? This is how we know that we can't win. Y'all remember a few years ago? Terry Crews, and I want to give a shout out to my brother for bringing this to my attention because I wasn't thinking about it in the moment when I was going through all these things. Terry Crews was founded by Harvey Weinstein, allegedly. Founded by Harvey Weinstein. A white man who got allegations for being sexually explicit with multiple women and key people in the industry. He's a big-time executive producer. If you watch a lot of movies, his name pops up, Weinstein Company, right? He apparently, allegedly, fondled Terry Crews. You know what Terry Crews did? Nothing. Nothing. I think his wife was there too, and he did nothing. You know what we did? We got upset at him for that. He was trying to protect his character, but we got mad at him. So if they'd have done, he shouldn't have done that to me, right? So when a man stands up for himself, like Will did, we're still upset. When Terry Crews did it, we was upset because he didn't stand up for himself. Which one is it? Who do we want? Terry Crews a big guy. He's swole. That's Damon. Friday after next. Which one do we want? Do we want Will to protect and stand up for us in the moment when it was his night? It was his night. It was his night. It was his family's night. It was the Serena sisters' night. It was everybody that had something to do. It was Richard's night. Everybody that had something to do with this project, it was their night. And because of one false move by Chris Rock, the great Chris Rock, and I still love him. I love him to death. We triggered something else and we went in a whole different direction. And now Will Smith, part of his legacy, is going to be a hand smack. And not hoisting up that trophy. Right? All because of mismanagement of words. People say words can't kill you, man. They can do a lot, though. They can do a lot. Love Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock is dynamite. I think he'll grow and he'll get better. I'm glad he apologized. But this right here, man, this was mismanagement of words. It was mismanagement of love. Will Smith has tried his best to protect his family in the best way he knows how. And he's always kept a smile, man. So I feel for Will, man. And maybe a lot of people don't. I don't feel sorry for him. And it doesn't mean I necessarily condone, but you know what? In this moment here, that emotion came through. This ain't about Jada pulling strings. This is about he's always took the high road every single time. And then when he is at his highest moment, somebody in his own community want to take that away and say, oh, let's talk to the bald-headed lady right here. Instead of saying, you know what, tonight I'm a pivot. I don't need a joke in this moment. He didn't say thousands of jokes. He ain't going to run out of no joke. We will always live to tell another joke. There's always going to be another joke. But situational awareness, man. I needed Chris to have that night. Discernment. To say, you know what, Will? Man, congratulations, my brother, for getting to this moment. For just getting here. Legend of Bag of Vance. 7 pounds. Pursuit of happiness. You know what, Will? This is your moment. It's nothing else need to be said but give you grace, give you love, adulation, admiration. All those great words should have been poured his direction that night. Should have been all love. We didn't need that joke right there. There's plenty of other jokes. You could have said this is a long way from Wild Wild West if you wanted to say jokes. But you didn't even attack Will. You went to his wife. Right? You didn't say, man, it's a long way from, you know what I'm saying, Cisco and Drew Hill singing songs about your movie that flopped. You went straight to his wife, who actually took a back seat for years. And that's the thing people don't think about. Jada took a back seat for years before the Red Table Talk. She wasn't in the spotlight. She had a couple shows, but Will is the bread earner there. She took back and took care of the family. So now in the last few years, she wanted to come up and say, hey, I want some shine too. But let's shine in a different way. Let's show women, let's show adults that there's other aspects of us and we're all human. Let me sit down with my daughter and my mother and create the Red Table Talk, which is a remarkable show. And y'all don't even have to know about the August Alsina thing. She and Will decided to put that on blast for y'all. And yet y'all want to use it against them when they're being transparent. This was a moment. This was black on black crime at its finest. We lost the opportunity to raise this brother up, man. Simba style. That's how we should have been. We should have been protecting Will in this moment. And then Will Packer executive produced this. But yet, we still want to do it. It's been 15 years since a black man has hoisted the Oscar. Who knows when it's going to happen again? We got a lot of great actors. David Oyelowo. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys out there. I don't even take the onus off, but we got a lot of great black actors out there doing their thing. Mahershala, you know what I mean? Just a lot of guys doing really, really great work. But it's been years. It's been years. Actually, did Mahershala win? I got to double check that. Mahershala may have won. So maybe in a few years. I'll double check that. But all in all, I just want to say this was a moment. This was our time, right? You know, we got to really look and like all the things that's happened. I'm looking at some of the stuff that I wrote down here and just, all the football players that, that are still highly regarded after beating their girlfriends and wives, and you got one player that threw his girl on a bed of guns, and like these guys are still playing and performing, and we show them love. Deshaun Watson just beat a case with 22 alleged sexual assault victims, right? Yet he just signed for the largest contract in NFL history with the Cleveland Browns. It got to be a lot of money played with Cleveland. Nobody want to live in Cleveland, right? We missed this moment. So I was disappointed as a whole. I love Will. I love Chris. They both brothers. I hope they can come sit down and talk. Shit, hell, they can come at the red table and talk it out together. But I think there's a mismanage of words. It was an injustice towards ourselves because we put the knife in our own back, right? So yeah, Will, maybe he shouldn't have walked up and did what he did, right? But he didn't do it because the words weren't. He didn't do it because for nothing. He was standing up for a lot. He was standing up for himself, his wife, the constant ridicule, everything that he's been home. And sometimes in that moment, emotions take over. People say what they want. And this is not going to create anything for comedians where people, ain't nobody coming up on stage for real. It happens every now and again. Somebody been smacked on stage before it happens. But see how many comics are out there working? It don't happen often. Most people understand that. This was bigger than a joke. This was the moment. Denzel, he was there. Looked out for him. Well, I understand, Will. It's what we got to do. Right? Will. It was his moment. It was the Williams sisters' moment. We stripped that from him. All because of a joke? Yeah, it's just a joke, but why now? Did it have to be right now? So many other things to do, right? So I just wanted to kind of cover that, talk to it. It's probably, I got a lot on me, a lot of things that I'm thinking about, but I just really want us to think about, when we use words, when, how, and when is very, very critical. It's important. I love everybody, and I tell jokes, and I've said some things on stage too. But situational awareness is different, man. You don't get to the pinnacle where he's got. Imagine if that would happen to Jamie Foxx. What if somebody would say something about Jamie Foxx's grandmother when he won Ray? How you think he would have felt? How you think he would have felt? Right? Think about it. He waited his whole life to get to Ray. That role was written for him. And then you talk about his grandma, who he loves. He'd have snapped. He would have snapped. Don't talk about my mom. If I ever get an award, don't talk about my mother. Don't do it. It's not good for you. Right? And I'm not even a confrontational person. But at some moments, this ain't it. Why now? This is black on black crime. That's what this is. Will made it here for a reason. Through everything he's been through. And you pick this moment. The Williams sisters sitting there. And the cast sitting there. Then you go with Jada, who has a disorder, whether you know or not. Why? Let me tell you this. Even if Will didn't respond to that, the joke wasn't necessary that night. Hold off on this one, dog. Maybe after the show, right? Maybe next time. This is not to condone or condemn. This is to say, why now? This ain't about assault, man. You assassinated character that night. What did you win or gain from that joke? Right? Wasn't necessary. That's all I'm saying. And, I'm happy for Will, but I'm disappointed that this moment, he couldn't just hoist up that trophy and just thank everybody and show love for this character that he played, which was his actual human being who led two of the greatest athletes to ever walk the face of the earth. This was supposed to highlight all that. Biggest moment. Will Packer. It's crazy. So anyway, I appreciate you guys riding with me through this journey. Definitely been on my head. A lot of people have been saying a lot of different things, but we really gotta, to frame this thing in a different way that it makes sense. Um, so I love everybody. Chris, Rock, we love you, man. Continue to do what you're doing. I know he'll grow from this. Will, you'll grow from this, man. And they can't take away the work that you've done. I admire you. I got the book. I had it before this incident. You know what I'm saying? I'm repping Philly all day. I grew up in Philly. You know what I mean? I went to elementary school and I went to middle school in Philly, Logan and Germantown, these areas where I grew up in. My grandma's from North Philly. My mother's from North Philly. I still go to Philly. I'm riding with Philly, right? And shout out to Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn too, but I'm a Philly guy first. Long before I was, I got to Maryland, I was in Philly. So I'm always going to show love to my Philly folks and everything it is. Me and my mother, we're going to talk after this. That's my lady. Hopefully I'll see her soon in Philly. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like and subscribe, man. Dripper Norway Media Channel. We are really trying to grow this and really put us in a different space to just talk, just have legit conversations. I just want to have conversations, things I feel about, and then chime in. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I also have a show called Fresh Sets that I host where I talk to other comedians who are really trying to grow this and really put us in a different space to just talk, just have legit conversations. I just want to have conversations, things I feel about, and then chime in. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I also have a show called Fresh Sets that I host where I talk to other comedians. I got one dropping later in this week. So check out that as well. And then you can find me in the IG space, Cultivated_NI. That's Cultivated_NI, man. Really great for you guys tuning in today. Had a great time talking about this and liking the comments. I'm pretty sure I missed some things, but just the energy of really coming back from that smack, man. It was a heavy smack, man. I mean, that that was big time. But I'm glad we got through it. I know we'll grow through it, man. Shout out to you out there. Make sure you do what you want to do in life, man. You only get one time to do this, and it's imperative that you go for your dreams, your goals, and aspirations, man. Peace and love, man. I'm not, man. See you soon.